Thank you so much for staying with us. If you were with us before the ad break, we are in a discussion with two political analysts, Dumisani Tembe as well as Hlengiwe Ndlovu, around the issue of the 8th of January. We do know that the ANC will be celebrating its 110th birthday, but the problems remain. Hlengiwe, let me bring you back in to the issue of unemployment and how the ruling party, many would say, has still not found a way to deal with the massive unemployment problem that we face in this country. And we do know, yes, it's been exacerbated by COVID-19, but if we really sit down and ask ourselves what the ANC has done to deal with unemployment and to try and build sustainable job creation in this country and a growing economy, what do we say? What is the legacy of the ANC in the last 5 to 10 years around employment creation?
I think generally the ANC as a ruling party has struggled to address the problem of unemployment, especially with the young people. So youth unemployment is so unreasonable high. We understand that the South African economy does not exist in an island. It exists within other larger global economies. But I don't think from 1994 we've really had a strategy of addressing unemployment. And if you look at some of these projects that are running within communities funded through local government, those programs, if they were to be used strategically, they would address the massive problems of unemployment. But the EPW projects and all other, like the recent money that was rolled out for municipalities, where every ward was given R1 million to see from the councillors what to do. And I would say to see what they do about it, because it would seem like it was at the discretion of local councillors in terms of how to use that money. And especially in Buffalo City Metro, where I work from, that money was used for grass cutting and other, small piece jobs. And you hear most young people saying, if this money was to be invested for skills development that are relevant and that match the demands on the market, it would have saved, it would have addressed bigger problems, unemployment problems in the long run. But that money is the money that moves from hand to mouth on an everyday, that is being earned by people who do grass cutting and pothole filling on the roads. So I don't think the ANC has really had a strategy in terms of addressing unemployment. And as you have already said, that this has been exacerbated by COVID-19, where we've seen a lot of people getting laid off from their jobs, and the economy really, really struggling, and that finding us in a very deep crisis of unemployment. We can only go down from here. I haven't seen the strategy, the turnaround strategy, in terms of how we are going to address that in future.
Dumisani, let me bring you in here. As Hlengiwe says, it's a deep crisis, and it just seems as though there's constant excuses about how the economy is not growing, and now it's been exacerbated by COVID-19. But what is the actual plan and strategy that you've maybe picked up from the ANC to deal with the unemployment, especially in youth? I think it's such a worrying picture that the majority of the youth in this country do not have jobs, and they've actually also just stopped looking because they feel as though there is no point. Why is this not priority for the ANC to try and deal with?
Look, I agree with what my colleague says there, but let's put it this way. In order for the ruling party to perform exceptionally well as a government of the day, first, it needs to be very organized, very strategic, and very project management oriented within its own ranks. And unless you have got a ruling party that is very organized within itself, that knows what it wants to achieve and that's got proper plans and internal discipline and order and cohesion, you cannot have a performing government. So what we are dealing with here is a ruling party which is not necessarily focused on dealing with the socio-economic challenges of the country, because the leadership at the ruling party level is extremely preoccupied with its own survival as leaders within the ruling party. It is only concerned mostly with dealing with all those people that they believe that are out to get at them. So earlier on, you were raising issues of Esma Hashule, and probably there are many other people that are considered to be a threat to the ruling party within the leadership of the ANC. So until we have a situation where we have a political party which is organized, cohesive, and strategic, and delivery-oriented, concerned about the well-being of the generations to come within the ruling party itself, we cannot have a performing ruling party at the government level that delivers on issues that deal with unemployment, poverty, homelessness, the delivery of water and sanitation. Because by and large, the dominant leadership within the ruling party is highly more preoccupied with survival antiques rather than the delivery. So this is why I said earlier on, you should continue to expect the socio-economic challenges of the country to continue to go on, because the political leadership that we have is rather more concerned with its own survival rather than creating a better generations for this country coming forward.
Hlengiwe, let's just ask you in the last minute or so, if you can just wrap up for us what your expectations are to be addressed in the January 8th statements. Also given the fact that, as many say, the ANC is just trying to survive, it needs to self-reflect, but looking at the fact that it's a political party that was unable to obtain over 50% in the recent local government elections, that speaks volumes to what people on the ground truly feel about the ANC. What are you expecting to come out of the elective conference, but also January 8th statements?
I agree with my colleague that the ANC has a lot in their hands currently, because as much as the socio-economic problems are very broad, and we've got a lot on our hands to talk about, to address as a country. Yet the internal crises are far, far, far more deeper than one party could handle. But as we are going into the January 8, obviously they need to be they need to pay lip service to the issue of land. I'm not quite sure how that is going to be, to be structured or articulated, because what they've already said is to say now that they've failed to get a two-third majority, they are going to use alternative avenues to address the issue of land, which is one thing. But also there has always been an issue of gender-based violence and other hate crimes in the country, and all those for the longest time, it has always been lip service, where the government just sets commissions that do nothing. At the end of the day, there is no accountability, there is no report back. We just hear millions of monies being announced, and we've never known where those monies go. No one comes back to give a report back. The task teams, like the task team in higher education on gender-based violence and all of those things. So I can foresee another set of lip service, and as you read the statements, General 8 statements going backwards, we'll see that nothing changes. It's only a matter of what's trending on that particular time that gets to be highlighted and emphasized.
I'm so sorry to have interrupted you, and we would have loved to have Dumisani say the last words, but unfortunately we have run out of time. Thank you both very much, Dumisani Tembe and Hlengiwe Ndlovu, for being with us this evening to speak about the ANC's plans moving forward, many issues to be addressed.